Hello, everybody. I'm Ed Robinson, and welcome to another exciting edition of At the Rim. This is the program that gets you caught up on anything and everything happening around the NBA. Coming up on this edition of the program, we'll look ahead to the second round of the NBA playoff matchups and so much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the program. I want to start off talking about my top three storylines. I want to start off talking about Los Angeles Lakers firing head coach Darvin Ham. I'll be quite honest with you. I did not like this move at all. In Coach Ham's first season with the Lakers, the 2022-2023 season, they would lose in a 5-game series. They would be swept by the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals last year. His regular season record, 43-39. Not bad. They would be swept by the champions, the Denver Nuggets, but this could have been the start of something major. The second season, which we would now find out this week that this would be Ham's final year with the Lakers, a much better record, 47 wins and 35 losses. The Lakers would go on to win the inaugural NBA in-season tournament. Tough go against the defending champion Denver Nuggets. They would lose in the first round in a 5-game series. Now, after losing the series to the Lakers, there were a lot of questions about whether Ham would be let go. Would Ham be back for another year? I honestly thought Darvin would be back for the 2024-2025 NBA season. Well, guess what? I was wrong. After only 2 seasons with the Lakers, head coach Darvin Ham was fired. And I do not like the move at all. I really think Darvin Ham was very good. I thought he was very effective. I think some changes should have been made in the front office. I think Rob Pelinka, as well as with Jeannie Buss, I think they should have went in and got some pieces together. Not big pieces, because you've currently got LeBron James in his prime. Anthony Davis, they're still waiting for him to become that franchise player. He's only 31, but he's an old 31 because of the injuries. So you have LeBron. He's not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. I know every year they talk about the retirement and all that stuff. No, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. Anthony Davis won't be going anywhere anytime soon in the foreseeable future. So you've got LeBron and AD. You've got really your meat of that lineup, and you build around players. You get pieces to help around LeBron and AD. Austin Reeves, he shouldn't go anywhere. D'Angelo Russell did not have a great playoffs at all. D'Angelo Russell, I would seriously consider moving him. Roy Hachimura, I believe, has a player option. There's some things they could do with him as well, but man, this was a tough go, man. Darvin Ham let go as the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers after only 2 seasons, and I don't like this move at all. I just don't like, this is not good, and I think this has to be better. This has to be better. And it's going to be better. Well, I mean, it's only going to be better if they get a coach that's going to be, I would say, to be LeBron friendly. And there's some names that have popped up for the head coaching candidates for the Lakers. The first name is J.J. Redick. You know, J.J. Redick is very pro player. J.J. Redick, him and LeBron James, they currently have their own podcast. Tyronn Lue, we'll see what Tyronn Lue his name has been popping up. We'll see what he brings to the table. But I believe that the Clippers organization, specifically owner Steve Ballmer, they're working on an extension to bring him back. There's Mike Budenholzer, who won an NBA title a few seasons ago with the Milwaukee Bucks. His name is thrown in the mix as well. James Borrego, who was an assistant with the New Orleans Pelicans, also was a coach with the Charlotte Hornets for several seasons. This is, listen, Los Angeles, an attractive market, an attractive city. The Lakers are an attractive organization. So anybody and everybody will not turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to the Los Angeles Lakers, let alone the city of Los Angeles. But this was really a bad move, and I think Darvin Ham should have been back for at least one more year, maybe 2 more years as the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. But I know Darvin, he won't be unemployed much longer. He'll be an assistant real soon. I mean, he was an assistant for a long time before he became coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. He's an assistant. Actually, he was an assistant with the Lakers and then becoming an assistant with the Atlanta Hawks, and then he was an assistant with the Milwaukee Bucks, helping them win, being a part of that NBA championship a few seasons ago. But tough break for the Lakers, man. And Darvin, deserves better, was used as an scapegoat for players not performing well, and really feel bad for him. But I know he's going to get a job in the near future. I think he'll get a head coaching job, just not right away. I think he'll serve great as an assistant in the immediate future. So let's stay with the Los Angeles Lakers, and my next storyline is going to be the Lakers coaching staff. Not only was Darvin Ham fired, but the Lakers fired their entire coaching staff. Darvin Ham, head coach, let go. The assistants were let go. Damari Carroll, J.D. Dubois, also Chris Gent, Jordan Ott, Zach Peterson, Skylar Rimmer, and yes, Phil Handy. Yeah, Phil Handy, somebody that is highly respected, somebody that a lot of players that have worked with him over the years say, man, Phil is the real deal. And he's been the real deal for so long. One of the most, not just one of the best assistants, but one of the most trusted people, not just in the NBA, but really in all of basketball. And certainly Phil Handy was let go, and that was a tough one. That was a real tough one to let him go. And the whole staff, the Lakers are really starting over from scratch. They're really cleaning house, not just with Darvin Ham, but also with his coaching staff as well. And certainly whoever the next head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers is concerned, man, it's going to be a complete 180. They're going to start over from scratch, a new regime, a new administration. As I stated earlier, it's going to be a LeBron-friendly coach. Remember, I hate to say this, but the Los Angeles Lakers had 2 head coaches during the 2 years that Coach Ham was in L.A. Darvin Ham and LeBron James. He was the de facto head coach. Hate to say it like that, but when you have such a talented player like LeBron James, LeBron is also the coach on the squad as well. So LeBron now, during his time in L.A., he's had 3 head coaches. He's had Luke Walton, Frank Vogel. By the way, that was the year they won an NBA championship with Coach Vogel, the year in the bubble in 2020, and then now Darvin Ham. So again, it's going to be a situation. It's going to be an interesting piece to find out who in fact is going to hire, who's going to be the next head coach. Because remember, it's some big shoes to fill. That organization is very prideful. That city is very prideful. And not to mention, you've got an Anthony Davis, and of course you've got a LeBron James, and certainly it's going to be an interesting off season, and to see what Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka are going to do, and specifically with Bronny James wants to enter the NBA draft, so there's the possibility of LeBron wanting to play alongside his son Bronny. So a lot of questions between now and then. You've got the NBA draft late in June, and then of course Team USA training camp will be in July, where LeBron is getting ready for the Olympic team, and then leading up until September when training camp starts. So certainly it's going to be a wild ride. It's going to be a wild ride, never a dull moment with the Los Angeles Lakers. And for my last storyline, it's going to be the Philadelphia 76ers and New York Knicks playoff series. When you think of the cities of New York and Philadelphia, you think of not just 2 cities that are cultural metropolises with the Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty, the Liberty Bell, the William Penn Tower, so on and so forth. But also 2 cities, they're rabid sports towns, right? No matter the sports, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, whatever it is. Soccer, New York and Philly, they love their sports. And sports fans, whether you rooted for New York or whether you rooted for Philadelphia or you were just a fan of basketball, what a series it was between these two iconic cities. No more than an hour and 30 minutes away from the New Jersey Turnpike from I-95, right? These two teams, this was all about grit. It was about heart. It was about determination. It was the will to win, and then some. The Knicks would go on to win the series in 6 games, 4-2. But, man, there were so many storylines in this series. First thing for Philadelphia, Joel Embiid. Joel battling knee injuries. The knee hasn't been 100%. Had the meniscus tear, I believe, back in March. He missed 30 games, was able to come back before the end of the regular season, but he was not at 100%. Been recently diagnosed with Bell's palsy, which is a condition where it causes a facial paralysis. So that was the story about Embiid's health. Tyrese Maxey just becoming you talk about in less than a few years becoming one of the most impactful players in the NBA. Tyrese Maxey is a guy, he's just a dynamo. He's like a human tornado. Tyrese Maxey, somebody that has gotten the job done and will just will his team to victory. He will go through a brick wall to get a layup. Just like that. Tyrese Maxey, I mean, we watched someone take his career to the next level. We also saw the unfortunate with Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris never got going in this series. He had moments here and there, but he never got going in this series. We saw Nicholas Batum have his moments in this series for Philadelphia. But we saw New York come alive. We saw Josh Hart do his thing. We saw Dante DiVincenzo do his thing. We saw Isaiah Hartenstein, Mitchell Robinson. That defense, we saw them do their thing. Oh, and we also saw a guy who became a superstar before our very eyes named Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson was sensational in this series. I'm looking at some of the stats right here. In Game 1, Jalen had 22 points. Game 2, he scored 24 points. Game 3, he scored 39 points. Game 4, he finished with 47. Game 5, in the overtime in New York, scored 40 points. And in Game 6, the clincher for the Knicks, he scored 41 points. Jalen Brunson has been, since he's arrived, since he's been in the NBA for a short amount of time, Jalen Brunson has been considered to be a consistent player. And Jalen Brunson showed a lot of star potential during his short time with the Dallas Mavericks. They couldn't work out a new contract. The New York Knicks stepped up to the plate. They gave him the money. Dallas decides to go with Kyrie Irving in free agency. The Knicks go ahead and get Jalen Brunson. You talking about not being a disappointment. In only his second year with the Knicks, Jalen Brunson has, I'm going to say it, he's transitioned from a star player to a superstar. And I think the best is yet to come for Jalen. And when you've got so many complementary pieces that I mentioned earlier, and also can't forget about OG Anunoby as well. OG Anunoby played very well in this series. I mean, OG Anunoby has been a monster since he's been in New York, and especially he's been healthy for the most part. We know OG Anunoby is a solid scorer, but man, his defense is just off the chain. And defensively, OG Anunoby is truly one of the best, and he provides a spark for New York. That was desperately needed in that first round series. What a thriller it was. And again, all to say that we've seen a lot of the series in the first round. Some have been good, some have not been so good. But the New York and the Philadelphia series in the first round was truly awesome. It was in my opinion, the best series in the first round, next to the Cleveland and Orlando series. I would say New York and Philadelphia was the show stealer in the first round, and then after that, it would be Cleveland and Orlando. But, man, Philadelphia and New York, whenever those two teams get together, no matter the sport, you know it's going to be intense. You know it's going to be a fierce rivalry. It's been like that for decades, and it continues to be that way. And we definitely got a treat with the New York Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers in their first round matchup. All right, so speaking of NBA playoff matchups, we'll look ahead to the second round in just a moment, but what we're going to do is we're going to recap Game 7 between the Orlando Magic and the Cleveland Cavaliers. I said that the Knicks and the 76ers was the best series in the first round, where the second best first-round matchup was the Orlando Magic and the Cleveland Cavaliers. This was a 7-game series. Cleveland would go on to beat Orlando 106-94. Cleveland wins the series 4-3. Orlando got off to a strong start in the first half, but it was a tale of two halves. First half, it was all Orlando. Second half, Cleveland just ran with it, and they never looked back. Donovan Mitchell, what a game he had for the Cavaliers. Donovan scored 39 points. Evan Mobley was sensational as well. He had 4 blocks in this game. He finished with a double-double with 11 points, 16 rebounds. Max Strus finished with 13 points. Karis LeVert finished with 15 points. Darius Garland finished with 12 points. On the losing end for the Orlando Magic, Paolo Banchero, what a game he had. What a series he had. He finished with a double-double with 38 points and 16 rebounds. Wendell Carter Jr. had 13 points. And Jalen Suggs finished with 10 points. So again, the final score in Game 7, Cleveland 106, Orlando 94. So Cleveland wins the series 4-3, and Cleveland will move on to the second round to take on the Boston Celtics. As for Orlando, they have been eliminated, and let's just say they're going to be getting ready to call their travel agent or maybe go on the internet and book those vacation plans. So, but listen, the Oklahoma City Thunder have gotten so good and so fast in such a short amount of time. And on top of that, Oklahoma City is way ahead of schedule. You can say the same thing about the Orlando Magic. They are ahead of schedule. Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs, Jonathan Isaac, Cole Anthony, Markelle Fultz, also Franz's brother Mo Wagner. Those brothers played some solid basketball throughout this series. And, of course, Paolo Banchero, already a star and on the verge of becoming a superstar. And this Orlando Magic team, one of the youngest teams in the league. I believe Oklahoma City and Orlando are the youngest teams, are among the youngest teams in the NBA. So the future is definitely bright for Orlando. They play hard. They shoot very well. They play defense. They can rebound. It's just the inexperience towards the end. It got them, but let this be a stepping stone for the Orlando Magic. And Jamal Mosley, big ups to Jamal Mosley. What a job he did during this season. Jamal Mosley was a candidate for this year's NBA Coach of the Year honors, and certainly kudos to his staff. I mean, a tough loss, but, man, I'm so excited to see what Orlando brings to the table next season and seasons after that, especially when you've got a great core and a great nucleus, and you've got Paolo Banchero, just simply amazing. All right, so that takes care of the first round matchup between Orlando and Cleveland. Again, Cleveland wins the series 4-3 in a thrilling 7-game series. All right, so now let's look ahead to the second round of the 2024 NBA playoffs. And in the conference semifinals, let's start in the Eastern Conference. We have the number 1 seed, Boston Celtics, going up against the number 4 seed, Cleveland Cavaliers. So again, with Cleveland, their guy is Donovan Mitchell. They also have Evan Mobley for his rebounds and his rebounding and his defense. Darius Garland, a playmaker. You got Isaac Okoro coming off the bench. Also, you've got Max Strus with his shooting. You also got Karis LeVert and Jarrett Allen. I know Jarrett missed most of the series against the Magic due to a rib injury. We'll see if he's going to be able to play, if not in the first game, but maybe the second game against the Celtics. As for Boston, listen, Boston is at the peak of their powers right now. Kristaps Porzingis is battling an injury, but hey, when you've got Al Horford, when you've got Drew Holiday, when you've got Hauser, and when you've got Pritchard, when you've got Derek White, of course, you got JT and JB, right? Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. I mean, what can you? I mean, hey, you can't go wrong, right? And certainly in the elimination game that the Celtics had taking care of the Miami Heat. I mean, Derek White just went on a tear. Credit to Hauser and Pritchard and also Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But Derek White is just a secret weapon for the Boston Celtics. Drew Holiday comes in with his divas, but Derek White was really the one that just was hook, line, and sinker and just sealed the deal for the Celtics to beat the Heat. So Boston and Cleveland is going to be a good series. I like Boston to win this in 6. Boston's got more offensive firepower. Cleveland is good on the defensive side, but Boston is just better on both offense and defense and rebounding, and their shooting is just top-notch. I like Boston in 6. The next series should be a great one between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks. First, for the Pacers, they took care of their business. They beat Milwaukee in a 6-game series. And I tell you one thing, the Milwaukee was beat up. Giannis, Dame Dollar, Damian Lillard. They were hurt for most of the series. Really, Giannis was hurt the whole series. Missed games 3, 4, and 5, but he played in game 6, and he did the best that he could, man. It just wasn't enough. I mean, Chris Middleton did what he could do. Bobby Portis did what he could do. But, man, Indiana, Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam, T.J. McConnell, Andrew Nembhard. Also, don't forget about Neesmith, someone who's really stepped up his game. And, of course, Mr. Tyrese Halliburton, the walking three-pointer, right? Tyrese Halliburton just had a series for the ages. And certainly Tyrese, along with those gentlemen that I mentioned earlier with the Indiana Pacers, they came in and they handled their business, beating the Milwaukee Bucks in a 6-game series. As for the New York Knicks, I mentioned it earlier, the Knicks thrilling 6-game series against the Philadelphia 76ers, and they're going to take that momentum with them against a series that I think is going to give them a lot of problems. I mean, Philly gave them problems, but I think Indiana's going to give them problems just because of the shooting and the defense. Now, if you know about the Pacers and the Knicks throughout the years, you know about Reggie Miller and Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley. You know about Spike Lee. You just know about Rick Smits and the cast of characters and the history of that rivalry between Indiana and New York. This could have a lot of fireworks too. I believe this is the renewing of a rivalry. Indiana, New York, Pacers, Knicks. This should be a lot of fun. This is going to go 7. I like the Knicks to win in 7. Knicks and the Pacers. I think the Pacers are gonna throw the Knicks for a loop in the first game, and it's going to be fantastic. But the Knicks, the grit and the grind, the energy of Madison Square Garden in New York City is going to be phenomenal. So I like the Knicks to beat the Pacers in 7 games. Let's move over now to the Western Conference. So in the second round matchup, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder, the number 1 seed, going up against the Dallas Mavericks, the 5th seed. So for Oklahoma City, no problems. They handled their business, beating the New Orleans Pelicans in the first round. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, MVP candidate, SGA being consistent. Chet Holmgren, outside shooting, phenomenal. The defense was just on point. Both Jalen Williamses were very effective in this series. Lou Dort is something serious as well. Josh Giddey was good as well. And also, of course, Mark Daigneault winning the head coach of the year honors, and rightfully so. Oklahoma City Thunder. I mentioned earlier about the Orlando Magic being so good and being really ahead of schedule. That's Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is really ahead of schedule, and they've gotten so good so fast in such a short amount of time. And really the best is definitely yet to come for the Thunder, as they're going to be going up against the Dallas Mavericks. So Dallas was successful beating the Los Angeles Clippers in a 6-game series. Luka Doncic found his shot, specifically in Game 6. Kyrie Irving found his shot in the 6th game of the series. Daniel Gafford just put Ivica Zubac to shame in that series against the Clippers. So Daniel Gafford shooting at a high level from the field, also getting the points in the paint, doing the dirty work as a big man. P.J. Washington had a solid series as well. So OKC and Dallas, it's going to be a fun series, but I like Oklahoma City to win in 6. The Thunder, too good, too skilled, too fast, just too good at all positions. I think Dallas is going to have their moments, but in the end, I like Oklahoma City to win in 6 games. And finally, the Minnesota Timberwolves go up against the Denver Nuggets. So Minnesota, they put the big 3 to shame. That's right, the big 3 from the Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. They had no answers for that big 3. And the Timberwolves, they clicked on all cylinders. Naz Reid, this year's 6th Man of the Year award winner. Also, Jaden McDaniels playing at a high level. Kyle Anderson was good in this series as well. Oh, don't forget about Karl Anthony Towns. Despite having the issues with the foul trouble, in my opinion, the best shooting big man in the league. Cat was phenomenal in this series. Rudy Gobert. What can you say about Rudy? Most likely will win his 4th Defensive Player of the Year award. And Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is a superstar, and he is something special. If you have not had an opportunity to watch Minnesota Timberwolves basketball the last several years, Anthony Edwards is just a phenom. He is a sensation, and he is going to take off to another stratosphere. And I mentioned all of the young players, the young nucleus on that team, but the veteran, Mike Conley Jr. Mike Conley brings the consistency. He brings the mentorship and the veteran leadership to that squad. So the Timberwolves, they are riding a high right now, but they're going to be going up against the defending champion Denver Nuggets. Jamal Murray, right, in the first round series against the Lakers, one big shot after another after another. He was a walking buzzer beater in this series, or should I say he was a walking game changer in that series against the Lakers. Just one game-winning shot after another. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope was effective in this series as well. There's questions because Murray and Pope, they both suffered injuries during that series. We'll see how their health holds up in this series against Minnesota. Aaron Gordon. Listen, Aaron did his thing, getting the points in the paint and getting good shots. Michael Porter Jr. has been fighting hard despite the distractions that have gotten him off the court. And you can't forget about Nikola Jokic, right? I mean, clearly a lot of people say the best player in the world right now. I'll say that as well, too. I mean, the gentleman from Serbia, consistent, sharp. What can you say about him? I mean, just a wonderful passer. I think his passing skills and his ball handling skills do not get enough credit at all. And certainly Nikola Jokic just continues to get better year in and year out. So this series is going to be exciting. I think this series is going to be the show stealer in the second round. Denver, great run, but I like Minnesota to win in 7. Minnesota is so good. I think the X factors for Minnesota are going to be the 2 7-footers, Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. Rudy gets the points in the paint, the second chance points, the rebounding, and the defense. Karl Anthony Towns can cause matchup problems. As I stated, the best shooting big man in the league. And, of course, Anthony Edwards is in a class all by himself. And then when you got Naz Reid and you got Mike Conley Jr., Jaden McDaniels, just to name a few, it's just I mean, what more can you say, right? I mean, Minnesota, they've got the juice. They've got the best chance to beat the Denver Nuggets. Denver, they won't go lying down in this series, I promise you that. But I really like Minnesota to win in 7 games. So that takes care of your preview of the second round of the NBA playoff matchups. All right, before we get on out of here, I want to give you just some of the award winners that we have thus far for the 2023-2024 NBA awards. Let's start off with the Sixth Man of the Year award. Congratulations to Naz Reid from the Minnesota Timberwolves. He is this year's Sixth Man of the Year. The other finalists were Malik Monk from the Sacramento Kings and Bobby Portis from the Milwaukee Bucks. Tyrese Maxey from the Philadelphia 76ers would go on to win Most Improved Player of the Year. The other candidates were Alperen Sengun from the Houston Rockets and Kobe White from the Chicago Bulls. Congratulations to Tyrese Maxey from the Philadelphia 76ers for winning Most Improved Player of the Year. Clutch Player of the Year award goes to Steph Curry from the Golden State Warriors. The other finalists were DeMar DeRozan from the Chicago Bulls and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Again, congratulations to Steph Curry from the Golden State Warriors for winning the Clutch Player of the Year award. The Coach of the Year honors goes to Mark Daigneault from the Oklahoma City Thunder. The other finalists were Chris Finch from the Minnesota Timberwolves and Jamal Mosley from the Orlando Magic. Once again, a congratulations to Mark Daigneault from the Oklahoma City Thunder for winning Coach of the Year award. The Executive of the Year award goes to Brad Stevens from the Boston Celtics. What a job Brad has done in a short amount of time as an executive for the Celtics. Of course, Brad putting the pieces together, pulling off major trades before the season began with Drew Holiday, bringing him over to Boston, Kristaps Porzingis, bringing him to Boston as well, and making some key free agent signings as well. And so, again, congratulations to Brad Stevens from the Boston Celtics being named Executive of the Year. Mike Conley from the Minnesota Timberwolves wins the Twyman Stokes Teammate of the Year award. This award goes to the league's ideal teammate who exemplifies selfless play and commitment and dedication to the team. So congratulations to Mike Conley Jr. from the Minnesota Timberwolves for winning the Twyman Stokes Teammate of the Year award. And finally, the NBA Hustle Award goes to Alex Caruso from the Chicago Bulls. You know, I mean, when you talk about one of those players that exemplifies heart, hustle, and determination, clearly one of the guys you have to mention is Alex Caruso. Alex, one of the best defenders in the league, someone that's scrappy, feisty, stingy, does whatever he does whatever he needs to do to get the job done for his team, somebody that can come in and make plays and, as you could say, do the dirty work. And certainly he's done the dirty work thus far, especially on the defensive side for the Chicago Bulls. So again, congratulations to Alex Caruso for winning the NBA Hustle Award. Alex represents the Chicago Bulls. And that's going to do it for another exciting edition of At the Rim. Until next time, everybody, I'm Ed Robinson saying so long, and yeah, first round is done. We're on to the second round. It's here. So until next time, everybody, so long.